Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I'm going to make a little card today. I've got a page out of an old book, and I'm going to put it in my spray box with the diamond stencil that I have in my shop. And then I've got two colors of Tattered Angels. I've got woven burlap and walnut gold, and you always want to make sure you shake them to get that mica up into the liquid. And I'm just going to spray this a little bit with both colors. I've got another book page. I'm going to use it to mop up. So it's got some texture, and I used too much and it kind of bled, but I'm okay with that. So I'm going to dry this and I'll be right back. I have a little card here that is from Canvasport Brands. This was in a grab bag that I got, and I thought, well, I need to use up some of this stuff. So I thought I would show you guys and gals a little card that I thought would be kind of cute. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this to a paper cutter and trim off part of this. The card, when folded, is 3.5 inches, so I just want to cut a little bit less than that. And then the card is 5 inches tall, so I'm going to cut it just a little bit less than 5 inches. So there is this piece, and that will fit on my card base, but I have another piece that I want to cut, so I'm going to cut that as well. And that is a piece of transparency film. So I'm going to cut it just shy of 3.5, just like I did the piece of paper, and just shy of 5 inches. I'm going to use some distressed ink. This is frayed burlap, and I'm going to go all the way around the edge of this piece of paper. In fact, I'm going to use another piece of paper underneath so I can really get that edge a little bit darker. I'm also going to go around the edge of the card. Now that I've done that, I want to adhere my little piece of paper to the front of my card. So I'm just going to use this no clog writing cap from Scrap Perfect with the best glue ever, and just go around the edge here. I plan to sew this in a moment, so I just want it to be able to stay in place so it doesn't shift on me when I go to sew. I have a little stamp here. This is from Judykins. It's a stamp I've had for a long time, and it was for sale at Hobby Lobby at one point. I don't know if they still carry it, but it's a cute little wing stamp that was perfect for what I want to do here today. Okay, so I have some white craft paint and a foam brush, and I'm going to pretend that this is a stamp pad by patting the foam brush on top of the stamp. You want to make sure that your foam brush isn't really wet. It can be damp, but you don't want it juicy with water, because that will water down the paint too much and it will run. So let's stamp that right in the middle. Let that set for a moment. Alright, so that created the wings in my background. So the next thing I need to do is clean my stamp. And you want to do this relatively quickly so that the paint doesn't ruin your stamp. So I'm just going to use the Scrap Perfect Best Cleaner Ever and put a little bit on my stamp. And I'm just working that in. And then I'll take this to the sink and wash off the stamp. I'll be right back. Alright, I've cleaned my stamp off. Well, I set it down on stuff, but it's not going to affect the rubber stamp because I did clean it off. Next, I've got a heart punch. It's an old Marvy heart punch. There's different ones on the market today. You could even use a die or hand cut the heart. So that's what I'm going to do now, is punch a heart. This is a book page on a piece of a grocery sack. I was trying to remember what it was. So I want to have an unusual look here, not really straight, somewhat cattywampus, and I'm just going to punch this out. I'm going to use my Distress ink, the same color, around the edges of the heart. And the next thing I need to do is I need to go to my sewing machine and start sewing. So I'm going to move the camera and show you that. I'm over at my sewing machine and I've got to do two things. I need to sew this heart on top of the transparency film that I'm using here, and then I'm going to sew the transparency film and then attach it to the card. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the heart image and seeing if I've got it pretty much lined up where the wings are, and I'm going to remove it from the card and I'm going to add a little zigzag stitch to attach the heart. So the heart's been attached, so now I'm going to do a zigzag across the top of just the transparency film. Now I'm going to make a sandwich and apply the card. So let me back out so you can see here. So I'm going to apply the card and the transparency together, and I'm going to make a U shape and turn this into a pocket. While I'm at my sewing machine, I have a piece of packaging. This was from Seven Gypsies Architectures, and I like the color that's on here, so I'm going to attach these two together. I'm just going to put a little bit of the best glue ever right down the middle, and that's just to help hold these together. And I'm going to do it on the back side. And then I'm going to put a little bit of stitching just down one side. So there's the sewing on there. I'm going to change the camera view and we'll be right back. Alright, so I've sewn the transparency film on the card, and then I backed the packaging with another piece, and I had a problem because I ran out of thread. So I'm just going to trim off that nest and not worry about it. It's part of the charm of being handmade. And I want this to be a tag shape, so I'm just going to go across one corner and take this piece and go to the other side and cut the same angle. And then I've got my hole punch here. So I'm going to punch a hole in the top, and we're going to add some ribbon to this. Alright, but before I put the ribbon on, I want it flat on my desk. What I'm going to do is line up the wings using the Brutus Monroe Detail ink. I'm going to stamp the wings and pretty close to the same area that they are on the card. And then I'm going to use some Distress ink around the edges. I'm just tying the ribbon on the top, and this is going to go inside here. So you can kind of see the wings continuing on. But we're not done yet. We've got one more thing. I have the little words that I created on my silhouette. Again, I basically choose a font in my silhouette, typed out the words, then I did the black box around it, told my computer to print and then cut. And now I have my own little sayings that I can use. And what I'm doing now is, because I printed on white paper, I'm going around the edge just to cover up that white edge. I'm going to use some of Scrap Perfect's glue with the no writing cap and put a little glue on the back side of this phrase. And then I'm going to place this right here across the bottom. And there is a quick little card that I made. This could be a journal card, a note card, it could be a gift. And what I like about it is the bookmark can be taken out and it can be a whole separate entity, or you can leave it in the front of this card. I hope this gives you guys and gals some ideas. Maybe you've got some transparency like I have, or you've got some packaging. Some clear packaging would work with this same technique. If you like this technique and this thing that I shared today, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Of course, comment below if you have any questions. Maybe you have an idea of something that I can use for the next one. I thought, well, might as well make it a little tag and a little card today. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell that's at the top. And of course, thanks for watching. Have a fabulous day. Bye.